Amazon. One wrong step into this river could put you in one of the most dangerous places on Earth. At first glance, it might just look like endless muddy water, but beneath the surface lies a place where powerful currents, deadly wildlife, and sudden floods can turn a normal journey into a fight for survival. Stretching for nearly 6,400 kilometers across South America, the Amazon carries more water than the next 7 largest rivers combined. In some places, it's so wide you can't even see the opposite bank, making it feel more like an ocean than a river, and the water is never empty. Giant black caimans, some growing over 5 meters long, silently patrol these waters. Green anacondas hide just beneath the surface, waiting for unsuspecting prey. Electric eels can deliver shocks of up to 860 volts, while schools of piranhas have made the Amazon one of the world's most feared rivers. As if that wasn't enough, the river changes dramatically throughout the year. During the rainy season, the Amazon can rise by more than 15 meters, flooding huge areas of rainforest and washing away familiar paths. Strong currents become even more unpredictable, and hidden tree trunks drifting beneath the surface can tear straight through smaller boats. The Amazon doesn't just test your survival skills, it makes you wonder what might be waiting around the very next bend. Congo. Imagine falling into a river so deep that parts of it have never been fully explored. That's the reality of the Congo, a river so mysterious that even today, scientists are still discovering what lies beneath its surface. Flowing through the heart of Central Africa, the Congo is the deepest river on Earth, reaching depths of more than 220 meters. In some places, the water is so deep and dark that sunlight never reaches the bottom, leaving an underwater world hidden in almost complete darkness. But it's not just the depth that makes the Congo so dangerous. The river is packed with incredibly powerful currents that twist beneath the surface, creating underwater whirlpools capable of pulling boats, trees, and almost anything else into the depths. Even experienced captains avoid certain stretches, knowing the river can become deadly without warning. The Congo is also home to crocodiles and hippos, but many people who live nearby say the wildlife isn't what they fear most. It's the river itself. Scientists have even discovered strange species of fish living in the deepest parts of the Congo, some with little or no eyesight after evolving in darkness for thousands of years. It's a reminder of just how little we still know about what lies below. The Congo doesn't just hide danger, it hides an entire world that most people will never see. Zambezi. What happens when a river becomes too powerful to stop? On the Zambezi, millions of liters of water race downstream every second, creating one of the most violent and unforgiving rivers on Earth. Flowing for over 2,500 kilometers across southern Africa, the Zambezi is home to the world-famous Victoria Falls, where more than 500 million liters of water can plunge over the edge every minute during peak flow. The impact is so immense that the roaring water can be heard from kilometers away, while clouds of spray rise high into the sky. But the real danger begins after the falls. The river explodes into a series of powerful Class 5 rapids, throwing huge waves and crushing currents through a narrow gorge. Even experienced rafting guides know that one mistake can flip a raft in seconds, leaving people fighting against some of the strongest white water on the planet. And escaping the rapids doesn't always mean you're safe. Quieter stretches of the Zambezi are home to large Nile crocodiles and hippos, animals responsible for countless attacks on both boats and people every year. The Zambezi doesn't slowly wear you down. It hits with so much force that, in the wrong place at the wrong time, there's very little anyone can do to stop it. Yangtze. What if the greatest danger wasn't crossing a river, but living beside it? For thousands of years, the Yangtze has given life to millions of people, but when this river turns against them, the destruction can be almost unimaginable. Stretching for more than 6,300 kilometers, the Yangtze is the longest river in Asia and one of the most important waterways in the world. Entire cities, industries, and farms depend on it every single day. But that dependence comes with a deadly risk. The Yangtze has produced some of the most devastating floods in recorded history. In 1931, after months of heavy rain, huge areas were swallowed by floodwater. Millions of people were affected, making it one of the deadliest natural disasters ever recorded. Even today, powerful seasonal floods continue to threaten communities along the river. Rising water can overwhelm flood defenses, destroy homes, and force thousands of people to evacuate with little warning. Unlike many dangerous rivers, the Yangtze doesn't rely on hidden predators or violent rapids. Its greatest danger is its sheer scale. When a river this large breaks its limits, it's not just lives at risk. Entire communities can disappear beneath the water. Futalufu. Most people avoid dangerous rivers. Some spend years training just for the chance to survive this one. The Futalufu isn't famous for deadly animals or devastating floods. It's famous because it pushes even the world's best kayakers to their absolute limit. Flowing from the Andes Mountains through Chile, the Futalufu is fed by glacial water, giving it its incredible bright blue color. It looks almost peaceful from above, but that illusion disappears the moment the river begins to roar. Towering waves crash into jagged rocks. Water surges through narrow channels with incredible force, creating rapids so violent they can flip rafts and kayaks in seconds. These are some of the most difficult rapids in the world, known as Class 5 rapids, where even a tiny mistake can have life-threatening consequences. That's why only highly experienced paddlers attempt its toughest sections. Every run is carefully planned, with rescue teams waiting nearby in case something goes wrong, and the freezing water makes the challenge even harder. Fed by melting glaciers, the Futalufu stays dangerously cold throughout much of the year. If you're thrown into the river, the freezing water can quickly drain your strength, making even a short swim feel impossible. The Futalufu isn't a river you conquer. It's one that demands your respect every single time you enter it. Yenisei. How long do you think you could survive in freezing water? On the Yenisei River, that answer could be just a matter of minutes. In one of the coldest parts of the world, the river itself can become just as deadly as the harsh landscape around it. Flowing for more than 5,500 kilometers through Mongolia and Russia, the Yenisei is one of the longest rivers on Earth. For much of the year, huge sections freeze over, creating a landscape that looks peaceful but hides a serious danger beneath the ice, because the greatest threat isn't what you can see. Fall into the freezing water and your body immediately begins to lose heat. Within minutes, your muscles become weaker, your breathing becomes harder to control, and even something as simple as pulling yourself back onto the ice can become almost impossible. And if the ice gives way, the danger only grows. Strong currents continue to flow beneath the frozen surface, making it incredibly difficult to find an opening before the freezing water drains your strength. In such remote parts of Siberia, help can be hours away, leaving very little chance of survival. The Yenisei doesn't need giant predators or violent rapids to be feared. Here the cold does all the work. Sitaram. Most dangerous rivers are feared because of nature. This one is feared because of us. The Sitaram River has become so polluted that it's often called one of the dirtiest rivers on Earth, turning what should be a source of life into a serious health risk. Flowing through Indonesia, the Sitaram provides water for millions of people, but over the years, huge amounts of plastic waste, household rubbish, and industrial chemicals have found their way into the river, leaving parts of it almost completely covered in floating trash. In some places, the water is barely visible. Factories have dumped harmful waste into the river for decades, while mountains of plastic collect along the surface. Toxic substances have been found in the water, making it dangerous for both wildlife and the communities that rely on it every day. Yet despite the risks, life continues. Some local residents still fish in the river or collect recyclable materials from the floating rubbish to earn a living, often spending hours surrounded by polluted water. The Sitaram reminds us that not every dangerous river was created by nature. Sometimes, the greatest threat is the damage people leave behind. Strid. It looks like the safest river on this list. That's exactly why it's so dangerous. At first glance, the Strid in northern England appears to be nothing more than a narrow stream. But beneath its calm surface lies a deadly trap that has claimed lives for centuries. Unlike most rivers, the Strid doesn't spread out as it flows. Instead, the water is forced into an incredibly narrow channel, squeezing an entire river through a gap only a few meters wide. The result is terrifying. What looks like shallow water is actually filled with deep underwater channels, powerful currents, and hidden cracks between the rocks. Fall in, and the force of the water can pull you beneath the surface almost instantly, trapping you where rescuers have little chance of reaching you. The riverbanks make the danger even worse. The rocks surrounding the Strid are often slippery with moss, making it surprisingly easy to lose your footing. Many visitors don't realize the risk until they're standing right beside it, because from above, it still looks calm and harmless. That's what makes the Strid so different from every other river we've explored. The deadliest danger isn't always the biggest, the fastest, or the loudest. Sometimes, it's the one that doesn't look dangerous at all.